Audio's going. All right, sweet.
Cool.
Well, that will happen before, so
Sweet.
we're here. We're here. Why don't you guys just go ahead and introduce
Yeah,
yourselves?
so you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Savion, currently senior here at KU studying finance from Gardner, Kansas. Just about 25, 30 minutes south of KC. Came to Kansas running track, also very involved on campus, and that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, and I'm Tavion Alcorn. Obviously, Say and I are twins. Savion is older than me by a few seconds, but from Gardner, Kansas. Also came to KU to run track, and then we stopped running track at KU our junior year to ultimately just really work on a company and also just focus on school.
Mhm.
And yeah, happy to be here, you guys.
Awesome. Yeah. No, we really appreciate you guys coming on.
course.
I like that intro that you guys came here to run track
Yeah.
because it seems like you're doing track and then every other thing that you can kind of
Yeah.
get yourself into.
We're trying
So,
to.
so I mean, I don't know. I don't really even like think I'll be able to go down the list, but
Mm-hmm.
if I had to try, it's like track you accumulated with the
Yeah.
Vintage Hawks. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Right.
busy.
Yep.
I mean, finance recruiting is extremely difficult. Finance scholars.
Yeah.
I've seen you guys in the venture fund. Which
Yeah,
one are
Right,
you
yeah.
guys?
Savion.
That's me,
So
yeah.
say there.
Yeah, that's a fun thing.
Say in the venture fund.
Man.
I'm trying to think. TA.
Yep.
I mean, like what kind of motivated you and like what's the reason behind like the involvement? Like, is
Yeah,
it-
I think one thing that me and Saban have always been really aware of, and it's always been at our forefront, is the fact that we're first generation college students,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and just knowing that when we go to school and um, really just waking up, honestly, our mom and dad, granddad, grandma, they didn't have a chance to go to KU or go to school in general at a higher education institution here in the States, but we
Yeah.
do, and that's pretty much why we just try to seize any moment we can, and just take advantage of any opportunity we do have in
Yeah.
front of us, and that's really a reason why. I mean, if we're at KU, well, what can really help us out, and what can we do to make sure that we're taking advantage of everything possible while we're here at KU? Because we know that our mom and dad would have done the same thing too if they could.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
That's perfect, honestly. I can't add much more to that. I can't.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. Okay. So
That's
like
perfect.
the main kind of call that I wanted to bring you guys on
Mhm.
is your company,
yeah,
the Vintage Hawks, which is
Sure.
a clothing company here on campus. Really popular for anybody who doesn't go to KU, but it's a throwback kind of style company where
Yeah.
Yeah.
you bring back like vintage clothing. So I just kind of want to hear a little bit about the business model, your inspiration behind that.
So funny story. So me and Savion, we both had jobs lined up for our summer of our freshman year at KU,
Mhm.
and that summer was also during the pandemic. So those jobs actually got postponed and ultimately got denied and terminated. So me and Savion were at home. We're just thinking, how can we take advantage of our time? We're at home. We need to do something and stay active.
Yep.
And Savion is always so. He loves saying this story, but me and Savion were like, why don't we just go work at UPS? And at first,
I'll cut you
Savion,
up. I didn't say that. Tay said that. Yeah.
Say
That
was like,
Tay's
we
idea.
probably shouldn't do that, man. We're student athletes.
Yeah.
We shouldn't really be in trucks unloading boxes and breaking down our bodies and just sweating a lot and so on and so forth.
Right.
And I was like, man, let's do it no matter what. So we go ahead and we do it. And we were there for training for like what, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And after like the 5th day, we just stopped going.
Just stop showing up.
we
Yeah,
stopped,
just stop showing up.
we stopped going, and then I was like, okay, that's fine, but we need to make sure we're doing something else. So we went back home, and I was like, you know what, Savion, I think we're going to pursue a new venture and try to, buy old KU gear. And at first, he was a little hesitant on it, and he was just thinking that it wouldn't be a good idea, but just told him, hey, just buy into it, and we'll see. So we drove all over Kansas City. So we're from Gardner, Kansas, and we went to literally every single town in Johnson County to go to every single thrift store. And we would buy anything vintage related that was KU.
Yeah.
And from there, we're just like, this is probably going to be something special if we just market it right. And our very first Instagram post was a giveaway. And I mean, my way of doing it was I market to myself because my audience is, people who are my age. So
Right.
what would I want? I would definitely want to see a giveaway on Instagram, and I would want to see some really cool jackets.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing we dropped.
Okay.
And the rest is history. I mean, we've done pretty well. I think we just hit 20,000 followers earlier this week, actually. So 20,000 followers in 3 years. I mean, it's been quite a journey, but definitely not done yet.
Okay. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And I've been seeing a lot like on your guys' Instagrams recently about like the transition of the company as you
Mhm.
guys
Yeah.
are moving into investment banking. Obviously, I don't think you'll have an extra hour to run
I wish.
Vintage Hawks.
Yeah, I wish.
And so like what is the emotional aspect behind that? And then who do you really trust with this?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll tackle it first,
Yeah, go
Tavion.
ahead.
The emotional part that we're kind of looking at, it's like, imagine that you're a parent. This is your baby. So I view my business as my baby. I love raising it, obviously, like developing it, making it a better business overall.
Mhm.
So it's definitely a hard process of letting it go, but I know that the people that we're going to give it to will be able to take it and take it even further. Um, the two people that we were kind of thinking are current betas right now, and also going to be maybe a maximum group of 5 people max, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a pretty good group.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. I mean, I was telling someone the other day that how cool is it that we're able to hire students at KU. I mean, we were students, we still are students here at KU, but the fact that we're able to just market ourselves and grab this business, um, it's amazing that we can hire students. I know I keep saying this, to you guys, but this is so cool. Like, what a great
Yeah, I
idea
would-
this
you
really
like
is.
that?
I mean,
Definitely wouldn't have expected this for him.
you guys,
I know.
It's
randomly
like
in
mind
Lawrence.
blowing. Yeah, it's really cool. It's
I appreciate
professional,
that.
top
super,
tier.
yeah, this is super, super cool.
Okay.
And really
It's
smart to
legit.
do.
I appreciate it.
And
I
the fact
appreciate it.
that, I mean, school's almost over, but I mean, going into the fall, I mean, you guys can just come back here and just keep doing the
Grind.
same
Yeah.
thing
Yeah,
over
We
and
hope
over
to
and
like
over
hit the
Yeah,
again.
this
ground
is cool.
running. I think I want to be in a position that you guys are in, like where
Yeah.
you're like you've got everything locked down for
Yeah.
as far as future goes.
Yeah.
You're kind of like getting your business classes in, but
Yeah.
like as far you'll have more free
This
time.
is
to
extra
dedicate
time,
to
yeah.
this,
This is fun.
Literally.
This is fun.
So, Sam, if you don't mind actually pulling up what you guys are talking about this, I think you guys, I want to see that studio with like the trophy case behind you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what was the story? What was the story with this? I think there was a 40-year anniversary for the
Yeah,
company. And
yeah.
like, you got
Um,
it's a small business.
Yeah, so I mean, the story behind it's really, really random actually. So I want to say it's last winter break, like junior year winter break, going into the next semester. We'd got a random DM mentioning the fact that, hey guys, I'm so and so. I won't say his name, but I'm so and so.
Yeah.
I work for this company here in Lawrence called Callahan. I would love to chat with you guys, get in person, and this is a surprise for you guys as well. And so Tay and I saw the DM, kind of surprised by it as well. Met the person in person, and he kind of mentioned that we are basically giving away $40,000 to four different companies in Lawrence, 10K each, and they wanted to give 10K to us as well. And so it was really random, but very
Wow.
thankful for the opportunity as well.
Yeah.
And they came to our house, that beta, and kind of shoot this video. It's pretty
Yeah, and I
professional,
think the
so-
cool
Really?
thing about what happened really in this
Yeah.
is the fact that Callahan, the company, they have a few values, and the value that we exemplify and just kind of highlight was courage.
Courage.
They knew about our company, they knew about our backgrounds very briefly, and they thought that these two students at KU are just very courageous.
All right.
And how great would that be to give these guys $10,000 to help them grow their company
Yeah.
and develop it? And insanely thankful for them too. I mean, it was quite the ride.
It was
just
a great
doing-
experience too.
Yeah, it was
phenomenal.
Yeah.
We filmed this documentary or short film actually the entire day one day. So I think we woke up at maybe 8 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and we were filming all the way until maybe like 5 o'clock, 6 p.m.
Really?
And this was just during midday. It was phenomenal. I mean, I think that was probably the highlight of my
Junior year.
junior year for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Looking back now, after we graduated, it's definitely one of our highlights of our college experiences. Really.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
super
that was
sick.
great. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if you watched the full video, but the full video is very professional and
Yeah.
it's amazing. They got videos of us running, shopping as well, but it was great. It was a fun time.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Was that all filmed in one day, or was that?
Yeah,
it
all of
was.
those
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're locked in on filming the entire day, clear our schedules out for it. So
I feel like when you watch the videos, it feels like you're filming this video throughout different days,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
all on the same day.
Okay.
It was,
Yeah, I did not realize that.
yeah,
That's
it,
super.
it was
cool.
awesome. That
Was it worth
awesome.
10 grand though?
Absolutely.
totally.
Film
And the
the video.
way, honestly,
Yeah.
the way that they did the film for us as well was right in hand with our business model. So
Yeah.
they DM'd
Okay.
us and said, "Hey, I want to bid $10,000 on this hoodie, this sweatshirt." And that DM was the exact same way that someone else that would place a DM for us,
Yeah.
placing a regular bid on any item. So
Mhm.
it was great. They did a great job on it.
When you guys saw the DM, did you guys just think it was like not a thing? Or what did you guys think?
What was this?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it was pretty random, but kind of surprising as well, like I said earlier, but very thankful for it. And there's a great team there, and we like them a lot.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It was incredible. I
Yeah.
really can't stop saying that too. It was, I mean, super random for me and Savion to be at home over winter break and just get a DM and go and meet this person at McLean's on campus and
Yeah.
just tell them our background, hear their background, and then get straight to the point. We want to give you guys $10,000 to help grow your company.
Right.
Not invest, but like help you guys grow your company. You guys take the money, do whatever you want with it. And I was like, that's phenomenal. Like how nice and just generous of you guys to just give back 10 grand to Savion and I and our company. But it was definitely memorable, I would say.
Yeah, it was.
Wow. Yeah. And like kind of just to pivot over to like on your Instagram with your with your like the Vintage Hawks Instagram, it's not only posting,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, hoodies and t-shirts, it's
Right.
posting kind of memories, you know.
yeah.
So what is the aspect of that, and what's the thought process
Yeah,
behind
I'll tackle that. So, I mean, I think
marketing?
one thing before me and Saban came to KU, I will never forget about it. It was December of 2018, and KU's playing Harvard in basketball. And
Yeah.
Harvard was definitely playing very well. I mean, they were giving us a run for our money, but Gerald Vick hit a 3-pointer, and we went to overtime. But before that game, on the big screen, it was Bill Self saying there's no place like Kansas, and just all these highlight reels of previous Jayhawks at KU playing basketball and all the history here at KU. And I was like, that's really, really cool to see. But I think one thing with me and Save on our company, we thought that, it's cool to buy items from the 80s, 90s, early thousands, and then resell them back to current Jayhawks here at KU and also the greater KU community. But how cool is it to also just, take that history and then sell it, but also post photos of actual,
The history.
history.
Yeah.
So we did that. And I think it's really cool to just learn about the history of KU and just know that um, KU has just come through or been through so much over the time. And
Hmm.
it's really Savon's idea, though. But
Yeah, I think that I'll add on to what you're saying, but
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that as a KU student, as a KU alum, it's important to know the history of your school. I mean, I love KU, I love KU a lot, but I would definitely say that 4 years ago, before we started Vintage Talks, I did not know anything about KU's history.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I think that for us to post a picture, post a caption as well, and kind of describe what we're posting in that picture, it speaks volumes to the KU student body, and everyone gets informed about what we're posting about that relates to KU. So,
I also think it's just very unifying. I
Yeah.
mean, you go to KU and you see all these photos on Instagram about the history of KU.
Yeah.
Me as a student, that makes me just so passionate about KU. Like I go to
Okay.
KU, this is my school, and I'm a Jayhawk, and I want to, just display myself as a student athlete and also as a student here at KU, right? And I think we do that fairly well, I would say, online on
yeah,
Instagram.
I agree.
But yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
that's the story behind that.
Was there
Really.
ever like a thought of expanding outside of KU, or did you want to keep it with Kansas?
Yeah,
We get
that's
that
one
question all the
question.
time. It's a
Yeah.
common question, yeah.
We get that question quite a bit, yeah. But I think one thing we just decided to really just stay here at KU. There's other schools down at, for example, when we first got started, we actually got inspiration from a guy down in at FSU. His name's Doug, and Doug does exactly what me and Savon do, but on a much broader and bigger scale. He's been
Right.
doing it for years,
Yeah.
and there's people at K State who do it too, Missouri as well. But I think what makes it special here at KU is the fact that we were student athletes. We're from Kansas, and we don't really want to expand beyond that. Like it's more personal to us. Just know that we're here at KU. We have ties here at KU,
Right.
and this is where we're from, right? So why not just keep it here and keep it
Yeah.
home?
And it'll also be run by students moving
Yeah.
forward in the future as well.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's kind of our ties to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And kind of, yeah, on the Instagram piece, you guys, this isn't your first rodeo with social media, right? So
Yeah,
can I
It's
hear
not.
about?
Yeah,
Can I hear about that?
there's
Like
a
the
lot more
story of
behind
that?
it.
Yeah.
I'll kind of sum up a little bit, but basically, actually, Tavion, you should probably.
Yeah.
It's Tave's first at it, so.
So I will never forget about it. My fifth
Yeah.
grade year, sixth grade year, I'm sitting in class, and there's this kid who transferred from Olathe into Gardner, and this kid had a lot of followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like, how does this kid have so many followers on Instagram? And then I talked to him. I kind of caught on to what he was doing. I was like, okay, cool. I can probably, replicate what he's doing, but see if I can do a little bit better.
Right.
So when Vine came out, I noticed that folks like Nash Greer or, another guy named Jake or Logan Paul, they were blowing up on Vine. And I saw what people would do. They would comment on their posts when Jake Paul, Logan Paul would post. They'd say, hey, we'll follow you guys back if you follow me. And folks would do that so often. And I was like, well, if it's working, let me do it too.
Yeah, it worked
And,
always.
it worked.
Yeah.
So I think one time I probably gained like 2,000 followers in one day. And I just kept doing it over and over and over, recycle.
Okay.
And we finally were able to accumulate like 10,000 followers. And from there, I was just thinking, if I post good content, content that people really like, there's no way I can't, do well at this. And I think after a little bit, we kind of knew that we were on to something pretty special.
Yeah.
And from there, 10K, 20K, 30K, so on and so forth. And we hit 500,000, and then 800K, 900K. And really what my account was basically Barstool Sports, but for Vine. And Barstool, what they do on their main account is take a viral video and make it go viral all over again on their account.
Right.
And that's all I did, but on Vine. And
Okay.
it blew up. And it was a rodeo. I mean, we were in high school.
We were definitely doing
the
things
time.
that I would say the average age is probably around 16 years old. We were
Yeah.
probably like 13 years old,
Yeah.
12 years old doing this in middle
Really?
school.
Yeah.
In middle school.
In
Yeah.
middle school, and then we kept it throughout high school.
Yeah.
That's all. I want to pull. So, do you want to
bouncing
pull
around.
up that quote? Um,
Yeah.
like
I
I
love
I
that
found this
quote.
in the paper. And,
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
do you want to explain that, Tay?
Yeah, so I mean, in high school, me and Savion, we always had two phones on us, or we had two phones or two laptops, and mainly because we had a phone for our business and then also a phone for our personal lives.
Mhm.
And when you're in the social media network or community, you get so many messages. I mean, me and Savion were also in group me's, telegrams, kick chats with all these social media influencers around the nation.
Yeah.
And I didn't want all these messages on my personal phone. I wanted it on a business phone where we can just kind of consolidate and have it on one thing.
Right.
So we did that. And in high school, when we had our teachers tell us, "Hey, you guys can't be on your laptops right now," or close your phones. Sometimes I just say, I really can't. Like this is how I'm making a living for myself right now. And they finally caught on. I mean, I remember one time, and I think it was my sophomore year, me and Savion, we kind of developed this early, love for just being on our phones 24/7, and
Sounds pretty bad.
it's a good
Yeah.
way. I
It sounds
think. I
pretty
mean,
bad, but it's true.
but when you realize me and Savion made money on our phones,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, that's actually really incredible. Like, how do you do that? So our teachers over time, they realized like what we were doing on our phones so much and so often. By the time we were seniors, they didn't really mind it. They were like, Say and Taylor, if they're not being a distraction, it's all right. It's all right. They're just making money. They're working
Yeah.
right now, but they're just being themselves right now.
Okay.
It was
It was different.
different. Yeah,
It
That's
was very
huge.
different.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
it was different. But man, yeah, it was so unique. We literally had two phones.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It was
And
fun.
yeah, and I want to bring Simo in too, actually, because Simo kind of did something similar.
Yeah.
He had a here. Why don't you just
Yeah,
describe it?
yeah.
'Cause
So high school, kind of same thing. I started a Instagram account where I would post content about NBA 2K.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a meme account, and it still is. I sold the account, but yeah, no, that quote made me laugh when I first read it because I was like, that
Was
is
it
so
relatable?
true.
Yeah.
Also with my parents too,
Yeah.
because they would see that I'm pulling in money.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What,
So- so
what are you doing?"
confused.
Hey,
Like,
trust me,
it-
we,
like,
we,
were
have
there
been
before
there.
too,
We've
yeah.
been
like
there.
I'd get like a cash app from like Canada from someone
Yeah.
buying an ad, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, how are you getting that money? But eventually they caught on, and I
Yeah.
think that's just like the whole like older generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which makes sense.
100%.
But yeah, no, I love
Yeah.
that you guys sort of had a similar experience. But
Going off from what
Yeah.
you just said too.
I remember our first combo like that with our parents.
We,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what year it was, but for Christmas one year, me and Savion, we bought our mom, our father, and our two older brothers all iPads. And our mom and father are like, where are you guys getting this money from? And,
I
um,
was so
Yeah.
confused.
our father, he's a police captain, and he was super suspicious. He was just thinking, I hope the twins aren't doing anything,
Right.
illegal
Yeah.
or anything bad. Like, what are they really doing? And then we, sat them down one night. And we were like, we are doing this. Just wrote it down real simple, and they're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And our mom was very supportive of it. So was our father and our brothers.
That's great.
Yeah, it was awesome. But
Yeah.
definitely been a lot of ups and downs, I would say, with
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
running all these accounts and just a lot of challenges, I would say, throughout the years doing this stuff. But it's definitely paid dividends.
Yeah, for sure. For
So
sure.
Did you know anyone else personally like doing Vine
Here's
at the
this.
time?
Yeah, so
Tons of people, yeah.
Really?
It's
so
crazy.
we knew a lot of people online, right? So, but one thing we didn't really realize until we got to high school was the fact that there were some brothers in Overland Park, Kansas, who were doing the same thing we were doing, but on much bigger and
They're not brothers.
they're brothers, Nate and Max.
Oh,
Shaker.
sure. Yes, those guys. Yeah.
They were
Like,
doing
a
what
lot
we
of
were
people
doing
like
on a
this.
much broader scale, really. I mean, they had
Mhm.
millions of followers, and they
Yeah.
had a really broad network of people that they had met throughout the years. And we didn't know who they were until we got to high school. I really wish we would have known who they were before. And we actually know Nate Schenker very well still, and he's a killer. He's doing so well. Like him and his brother had a lot of followers on Instagram, like millions of followers, meme accounts, sports accounts,
Sports
whatever it may
accounts,
be.
Esports accounts as well.
Yeah, they were killing it. They
Yeah.
were killing it. But yeah, we did.
That's awesome.
It's a cool community to be a part of. I
Yeah,
feel
it's a niche group, but if you can get into it, it's phenomenal.
It's game over once you're in because it's my way of viewing it is more so the fact that you're either a private citizen or a citizen, right?
Mm.
If you're in the social media game, I consider you kind of private because you know how to mitigate between both communities. You know exactly what people want to see, and you kind of own the game somewhat. And that's what we did for a while.
Yeah,
That's super sweet.
it's great.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to get into your transition, like with
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. A lot of
Mhm.
people kind of view Obviously, you guys are both going into investment banking, competitive finance
Yeah.
next year. I just want to see like the relationship that you see between entrepreneurship and then like corporate. Like a lot of people see it as like a zero sum game where you're either
Yeah.
like starting a business and dropping out of school and like
Yeah.
going off and doing your own thing, or going into, I don't want to say like 9 to 5 because it's investment banking, but going
Sure,
into
yeah,
corporate,
sure.
That's a great perspective. I mean, I think that this summer I really truly realized that investment banking, corporate finance, and competitive finance overall, it's entrepreneurial based. And my way of looking at it's like your higher ups, so your MDs, your higher managers, of course, as well. Those guys are equivalently your franchise owners, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
And everyone beneath them are kind of the workers as well. And so if you can work your way up inside competitive finance, you're equivalently being an entrepreneur. You're making sure your team's doing well, your business is doing well overall. And it pays off in dividends as well. Speaks volumes when you do successful things in your
Yeah.
group. So that's what I
And
see
I
as well.
think with me and Saban being student athletes for so long, entrepreneurship has been very, I wouldn't say easy to do, but being an entrepreneur but also a student athlete, you kind of know how to control, obstacles. You know how to overcome adversity. And I would say tying student athlete, entrepreneurship, then also being in, banking, I think they're all very applicable. I mean, they're all high pressure environments,
Right.
and you have no other option but to like win, right? You want to win
Mhm.
when you're an entrepreneur, you want to win. And then when you're a student athlete, you obviously want to win. But when you're in banking, you want to win that deal. You want to win, just being the person who knows how to do something.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we've been trying to do for a while too. So we thought that, just knowing our background, this is just a great path to just kind of go down and pursue. And we
It's
did it.
transferable. Very transferable.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah, no, so wait, were you guys, you're at Wells Fargo, right?
Yeah, I'm at Wells
and then
Fargo.
Bank of America.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so obviously these jobs are not easy to get. So how do you do
Yeah.
it twice
Yeah.
or 3 times if you include
Yeah.
Stefan? Like,
Yeah.
what's the common path? And
Honestly, I mean, I
Yeah.
think the path it's not really a set path,
yeah,
I remember growing up, I can speak on my behalf, and Tay may be in the same boat as well, but
Sure.
we'll be in middle school, and I remember Stefan going off to New York, and he'd be saying, hey, Mom, I'm going to work in finance, work in banking in New York, and at the time, I'm very confused. I'm like, why is Stefan going to New York? New York's great, it's a great city. I'm very confused by what exactly is he doing. I didn't know until maybe sophomore year of high school exactly what he did, and I
Yeah.
knew that in the next 2 years, I'd be going to college as well, and would be needing to take the correct steps to follow him as well. I knew that
Mhm.
those steps would be difficult to take, but I think that one thing that Tavion and I did pretty early on in college was definitely get involved. Um, I think that it's also important to know that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so getting involved, whether that be on campus, here at KU, outside of campus as well, we're both involved in many different programs outside of Kansas. That's helped us get to where we're at right now. So it's
Yeah.
definitely
And I
been-
think one thing too, I mean, going off of it's not what you know, it's who you know. I mean,
Yeah.
me and Savion, our sophomore year and freshman year, we kind of knew how to, mitigate the game. Like, how do you really win this game of, networking in finance or networking to get this job that you want? So we spent a lot of time our sophomore year and freshman year really just making all these phone calls. I want to learn from someone, so I'll just call them.
Yeah.
I will email them and I will say, hey, do you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes to talk about XYZ?
right.
And the worst thing anyone can tell you is no.
Uh-huh.
But for the most part, people love talking about themselves and talking about what they do. So you'll likely get a lot of yeses too, and we did. But yeah, our sophomore year, a lot of phone calls. But I think one thing that's kind of helped me and Savion throughout the years has really been our older brother. I mean, we, like Say said too, in high school, middle school, we would watch Stefan, our older brother, just study for all these exams, fly out to New York. And at first, like Say said, I had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah.
I would just see my brother in our living room with all these books everywhere, all these papers everywhere, just studying. And I had no idea what he was doing. But then I realized as I got older, what our brother was doing was incredible. And that, us being first gen college students, mom and dad, not going to college, mom being from Jamaica, like this was probably smart for us to just kind of pay attention and kind of take part of
Right.
as we
Mhm.
got older. And we did. I think the biggest thing we kind of just was just making sure we were able to network as soon as possible, just find the right person to talk to and go from there and see where it goes. And it went very well for us, I would say, so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, I met Stefan about a month ago for the
Mhm.
first
Yeah.
time, and super well spoken guy.
Yeah.
Super. I was with a lot of your friends, and we all kind of agreed that
Yeah.
he kind of has the same mannerisms as you guys, but he's just like very like soft spoken.
Yeah.
You can tell he's like really smart. And
Yeah.
so, but he's not like talking a ton.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting because he got into banking. He got a really good position
Very early.
Yeah.
at Blackstone,
Yeah.
private equity, and then he left to go to the White House, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then through that, you guys have been able to visit the White House. I kind of want to
Yeah.
hear a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Stefan, he worked in the domestic policy council and also with that, I'm pretty sure it was just infrastructure
Yep.
and maybe a little bit more than that. But so he was there for, I want to say, a little under 2 years. So I think maybe a year and a half, maybe. But when you leave the White House, you have a celebratory photo with the president, pretty much, as a thank you for your work.
Okay.
And our brother, I remember vividly, he texted us on a
Randomly.
random day. He was like, "Hey, you guys,
It's like a
um,
random Wednesday evening.
yeah, you guys
Yeah.
have a few hours or a couple of days to just kind of organize and go pick up our nephew and fly out to DC to meet the president." And like, whoa, like how random was that? Because he had been gone from the White House for over a year now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or almost a year really, and it was phenomenal. I mean, we went to the White House. Definitely went through a intensive, or not too intensive, but very
Normal.
normal
It was normal.
routine
Broadly normal. Yeah.
for just security check. But
Yeah.
I think meeting the president was phenomenal. I mean, no matter who you are,
Yeah.
if you can go meet the president, you're obviously gonna say yes. But I would
Yeah.
say President Joe Biden was very nice guy. I think that he reminded me of a grandpa that you hadn't seen in forever, and he really wanted to see you. He seems so nice and so
Never heard you
genuine,
say that before.
so
That's awesome.
genuine, and happy to see us. And
Yeah.
I thought that was really nice to know. He's kind of comforting when you walked into the Oval Office. And Savion, I guess you can kind of touch more
That's
about
awesome.
your experience with that too. But
Yeah, I mean,
that's how I perceive it as.
no, that's a great perception overall. But
Yeah.
I think that I knew that when we got to the Oval Office, like my heart was just thumping. Being honest,
Mine was too.
I
It's kind of shaking a little bit too.
the opportunity, it's once in a lifetime rather.
Yeah.
But for us to have our mom there, our nephew there, and obviously Stefan and Tavion there as well, it was a great feeling overall. It's our entire family in the Oval Office, and I got inside the Oval Office, and my immediate thoughts were, this room has so much history. It's a great
Yeah.
room, and I can only imagine like what things have been said in this room, and it's just it's a powerful room. And when we get in there, it's like 30-foot ceilings, very bright. It's a surreal feeling. It was a great time though.
And like the amount of people that would get to go in that
Yeah.
room
Yeah.
in their lifetime is
Right.
Like knowing
It's
it's
pretty
very
slim.
special people go in that room. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah.
And we were able to be a part of that too.
Okay.
And
That's sick. So security, are we talking like airport? Like what are we looking at? More strict than airport?
Honestly, I mean, Tavion said that security is pretty broad, but I think it was
when
pretty
we,
normal.
we gave them our IDs, and they did a little background check on us.
They did background checks
Um,
far before we got there.
Okay.
Before.
Yeah,
Because I barely got into Blackstone, just being honest. Like at the front desk, they were holding me up. They're like, your QR code's not
Yeah.
working. And so I don't know if I would have been that fine. But that's super cool. That's super sweet.
That was great.
And Stefan told me that I think his first day was January 4th, like
Mhm.
2021. And
Yeah.
so 2 days before the White House just got like
Yeah, he
rioted. So
he
that's like
joined
a
at
really weird
rough
timing.
Yeah.
It was
like imagine going to your place of employment, the White House, and just seeing
a lot of protesting and
protesting everywhere and just things that were really unheard of before. Yeah, that was, I don't know how I would have reacted if I was in that situation, really.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 days before you join, 2 days after, sorry. I mean, that's just happening. I mean, it's
Yeah.
unexpected
insane.
as well. Very
Yeah, you don't
unexpected.
really see that ever.
Ever.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, that's insane. Definitely like timing wise,
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
not ideal for him.
He always speaks about that time, and he joined the White House at a very rough time. It's notable.
Yeah.
And I mean, do you guys like admire that? I admire it. Like,
Yeah, I
he
really
did it
do.
to
I
help,
mean,
right?
Because I
Yeah.
think about it, Stefan, he obviously worked in finance in New York, and he had the opportunity to go work at the White House. And I think shows a lot for his character to leave a high-paying job in New York and finance as well to go work for the government and do something very much more meaningful.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of guy he is. He's really caring about his community and his job overall. But I think that his move to the White House speaks volumes for him.
Mhm.
He is as
I
a
think
person.
Stefan, one thing I've always admired about him is the fact that he loves giving back.
Yeah.
And that's kind of helped me find a passion for giving back too. And he's also just passionate about serving people. Like he
Yeah.
wants to make sure people have what they need in life, like whether that be housing, whether that be just education, or just having tools and resources for whatever they need in life.
Right.
And he fulfills that wherever he goes, and that's what he did when he went to the White House.
Okay.
And him going back to Blackstone, he's in a role where he's able to help people who are in housing. So he wants to make sure people were able to feel accepted and also just be where they need to be at a real estate level.
Right.
And that's what he loves doing. And I mean, it's an incredible jump from, Blackstone and then going to the White House to go serve basically, and then go back to Blackstone, but you're in this role where you're able to still help out people on a different level than you were before.
Right.
It's phenomenal to me. I mean, it's very encouraging to me too. I mean, if he can do that, I can do it too, right? So
Mhm.
maybe I will I'll do something like that similar one day, but not to his extent. But we'll see.
Okay. Awesome. And I kind of want to transition into, I know I'm smelling it. Simo, do you want to eat? So we have Pickleman's sponsoring us right now, and
Awesome.
they asked us to try some of the food
Yeah.
great.
on the show. So again, I've never done this before, so I don't know how this is gonna work with the eating and the mic and stuff, but we're gonna try to make it work.
I like it work.
So basically, I think I want to be able to like ask a couple questions. We'll see how. What are we looking at? I think there are 13.
13, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, we're 17, Simo.
This may be my first time trying Pickleman's as well.
No
Okay,
way.
awesome.
I think so. Yeah, I really think so.
I'm
I've
gonna
had
need
it
an
before.
honest
I've had it
review.
before.
I mean, I don't know though.
I love
You know,
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, so we're getting out of 10 review.
This is really your first time, then your first bite needs a rating.
Yeah,
Out of
totally.
10.
I'm pretty sure it's my first time, so
Okay.
we'll see.
Just no way this is your first time.
I went to pick it up and it was like the whole store had heard about it. They're like, "Oh, like good luck on your show." Like, I'm like, "Thanks." I appreciate it. All right. This is like the 2 minutes that's gonna make everybody hungry. All right,
How was it?
What's the review?
That first bite.
I'm gonna go 10-10.
10, 10, 10?
Honestly, yeah,
10,
it's
10?
great.
I'm a big fan of Pickleman's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a
This is great.
frequent customer.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Tay, what's your review? Should be
10 every time.
Yep.
Yeah, once I went after Logie's, they were open till like 1 a.m. I think. Once I went, I got one of these Chipotle chicken sandwiches, and I got in line and ordered another one, and I ate that one.
Smart. That'll save you after Logie's.
Oh, I mean, yeah, no, you're right. So, yeah, I know. They're open pretty late. So anyways, if you're in Lawrence, Logie's, we go to Pickleman's on Mass Street. They'll hook you up. Simon, what do you think? 10-10?
I said it's a 10 out of 10, and I love it.
Yeah. Probably just have a couple bites of that. But amazing sandwich. They actually have been so generous. They included $50 gift cards for both of you.
Wow.
So for after the show, so you can go another, 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Replicate the experience. So speaking of the Lawrence area, rapid fire questions. Hawk Bowl or wheel?
Definitely a Hawk guy, but when we go to the Hawk,
I want to be very, very exact, though. I want to say the Hawk. Teeny room.
teeny room, yeah.
Okay, teeny room.
Yes,
Okay,
Absolutely going to the teeny room every time.
100%.
We're just really big fans of teeny. I think we celebrated our birthday, 21st birthday, the teeny last year, and we also did it this year too.
Doesn't get old, huh?
Never will. And I hope one of my kids one day goes to KU too, just so on Dad's weekend I can come back and go to the teeny.
Yeah. It's a great
Okay.
room. It's fun. It's always a good time, and I look at it as if it's like a mix between the bull and the wheel. So it's like not too upbeat, not too slow beat, but it's kind of in the middle. That's
Okay.
how I see the teeny room. So I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
My parents were here. My dad told me, he's like, "Yeah, you got to go to the Hawk." And he asked if they still had barrel night, and I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, he went to his office and he pulled out this like pint glass, or like it was huge actually, so it was more than a pint. He's like, "Yeah, you bring this in, and they fill it up for you for like $1."
Really?
And I guess like they just used to have so much fun here, because I was like, "Dad, I don't think I'd be able to walk in with that today." But
Not at all. Not at all.
or walk
That's
out
crazy,
with it.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, no, that's changed a lot. I brought him back for Dad's weekend this year, and he was like, the bar band was there. It was like probably the worst time to bring him through there because he couldn't move
It's
at all.
packed, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's changed a lot, but I think some may say for the better.
I always wonder like who organizes the bar band.
It's random.
It's so random.
It's super random.
It's so random, and when they do come, I appreciate it. When they do come, I'm like, how did you guys get here? Where's all the equipment coming from? All your instruments? Where do you guys store them at?
Why are you pouring a beer down your tuba?
Like, where are these all coming from?
Yeah. It's always super random. Always.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I'm always just thinking, are these folks a part of the actual band at KU or no? 'Cause I don't know.
Are they the ones that like got kicked
They
out?
totally are.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if someone has a KU trumpet,
No, Savion. They're
It's either
actually.
they got kicked. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
If
honestly,
you
but
if
I'm
you
pretty
see
sure they
some of
are.
them, they're like customized, and they're
Yeah.
not all shiny and really good looking instruments. They're just little.
They play pretty well.
Yeah,
Pretty like routinely well.
yeah. I mean, they play well. They
So-
play well, but
They could just be the rejects who didn't get into actual bands.
Yeah.
They have to go to the bar.
Yeah.
regardless, they're phenomenal. But I just
Yeah.
always think about it when they come to the bars. I'm just thinking, where are you guys coming from?
Yeah.
Like, where's all your equipment
Did you
stored at?
Did you guys get dropped off? Or?
I mean, those equipment. I mean,
That's a great question.
the
Honestly,
instruments are
'cause
pretty
the
heavy,
instruments
yeah?
are big. Yeah.
yeah, they're
Okay.
pretty light. They can't be too light.
Yeah.
Every time. Every
Yeah.
time. What is going on?
But hey, I mean, again, if you're not in Lawrence, come to Lawrence. Like it is like a Lawrence ad at this point.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. But kind of not specifically for KU. But if you could just do, in your case, it'd be KU probably. But if you could do college all over again, what would be a couple steps that you take right off the bat? Would you replicate everything you've done, or would there be anything you'd change?
That's a great question. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
that's a great
that
question.
obviously we both stopped running track, and I don't look at it as if we quit running track, but it's more so we retired from doing track. We both love track a lot. We've been doing it since 5th grade, but broadly speaking, if I can go back and be a freshman again coming to Kansas, I think that I would personally not do track.
Really?
It hurts for me to say that honestly because I love track a lot, but when I look back on the past year and a half that I've had not running track, I've had a lot more fun. I feel more like myself. I feel like I have a lot more less stress overall. So definitely say that not doing track, and obviously that would make me have a lot more free time, meet more people, go out more, meet new friends, and truly just experience what KU has to offer outside of just being a student athlete because there's so much more.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really change too much, but I think one thing that really helped me out, when I was a freshman was really just relying on a mentor in the B
Mhm.
school. Like Steven Johnson, Dieter Schrader. Steven Johnson, he's a director for the Multicultural Business Scholars Program at KU, in the B school. And I remember vividly, I sat down to my freshman year. I said, hey, I want to do XYZ before I graduate. I want to
Right.
do banking. I want to go work in New York City. How can I get there? And he sat me down and he was just saying, I don't know the exact route, but I know folks who can help you out. And he had me talk to Levi Johnson and Kelly Welch immediately when I was a freshman. And that was super helpful. So I've been
Yeah.
thinking that mentors and just having a resource in the B school or just anyone to really just rely on, truly, very helpful. Then also, I think going back to what Savion said too, definitely socialize. I mean, me and Savion, we were student athletes. We probably didn't socialize as much as we wanted to
Right.
freshman, sophomore year, even junior year. But I think when you meet people, when you go out somewhere, when you go, whether it be going out to a football game, basketball game, whatever you may be at, socializing, that part of college is just phenomenal and it's very,
It's important.
it's important. I mean, it's how
Yeah.
you build
That's-
friendships.
Your college experience as well.
Yeah, and I think we kind of missed out on that a little bit, but when we kind of caught onto it, we seized that moment immediately. Like, maybe you don't do track, but how can we really just use this time and go somewhere else with it?
Yeah.
And we do that with socializing our company and also just being involved in the B school. It's YTA. But yeah, I don't think I'd really change too much, but definitely just making sure I have a mentor or someone to rely on really for help, and just socializing. I mean, it doesn't hurt to go say hi to someone,
Yeah.
So just say, hey, what's your name? And I love doing that. I mean, any class, I always sit in the front row on purpose if I can. And if I don't know the person next to me, to the left or right, I'll say, hey, I'm Tavion. What's your name? Where
Yeah.
are you from? And see where it goes.
Perfect.
Same thing, say.
I mean, yeah, honestly, I think that Tay mentioned the fact that sitting in the front row, I always say that as well.
Yeah.
I think we're both very, very type A a little bit. We're always outgoing a little bit, and I think that helps us in a lot of different situations. I always tell Tavion that I can, and my friends, of course, as well, I can go out to the bar maybe, bump into someone. They'll tell me sorry, but that's okay. You bumped into me, but I want to know your name,
Yeah.
I can know your name, but when I see your face, I may not know your name immediately, but if I can
Yeah.
have your name in that moment, it's important to me, and I just
Yeah.
like meeting people. So,
Awesome. Yeah, no, before we were recording, we were talking about
yeah.
you and Chase, and it seems like that's
Yeah,
exactly
trust
what
me,
happened.
I'm always about it because I love meeting people, and if I can know your name, I'll do my best to remember it. So,
And you never know when you're gonna not need them, but
Yeah.
when it's gonna be an advantage to
yeah,
Yeah,
know
of
them.
course.
So if you know this person, maybe down the road they can help you out.
Yeah,
You never
totally.
know. So
or you can help them out, or
exactly,
you know,
vice versa.
that's super huge. That's super huge. So you think that socializing is a huge part of college, obviously.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But do you guys ever think that there's this whole almost a stigma with the college experience where it's like either like get your shit done or have a college experience almost. Like
Yeah.
it's like if you're involved in too much, then like
Yeah.
you were saying, you miss out on it.
Yeah.
What's the balance between the two? Because it's definitely not good to throw everything out and just like
Yeah.
only
I think that coming as a freshman, there's totally a fine line between doing too much and doing too less.
yeah.
Mhm.
But it's also important to know that that fine line is different for everyone. And that really just means where you're coming from, whether or not you were really experienced in high school and had a lot of activities. But finding that fine line, it takes time. It really does. And I knew that Tavian and I, our freshman year, we did not know that fine line because our schedules were pretty much set in stone
Mhm.
by K Athletics.
Yeah.
So once we found that fine line, I would probably would say after COVID. So, I mean, not necessarily after COVID, but
Yeah.
sophomore year, first semester.
Yeah.
Um,
On the back end of COVID.
yeah, literally. That fine line is pretty fun when you get there
Yeah.
because you know exactly what you're doing. You have the best of both worlds. You're involved a little bit, but you're not too stressed out about what you're doing as well. So,
I think it's all about just finding out what you're passionate about. So
Yeah.
I think you can be that person who goes to school and, wants to get a 4.0 GPA. That's more than fine. And, if you don't want to go out, that's more than fine too. But
Mhm.
it's really about what do you like? What do you not like? Do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like me and Savion personally, we like to socialize. We like to go out when we can, go to a football game, go to a basketball game, and hang out with our friends. But we also like to get after it in school. I like to, I guess, try hard in school.
Mhm.
Just like to, just if I can do my best, why not do my best? But I definitely can see where people who are, wanting just to have a straight college experience of just, school, not socialize too much because you just want to get through it. That's fine. But I think it's all about just finding what you're passionate about.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Kind of like on that note, something that stood out to me. I was in a conference in Atlanta,
All right.
and the speaker said, it was for my fraternity, but the speaker said like how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before? And like,
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
kind of seems like what you were.
Yeah.
Sure,
I mean, I
sure,
agree with
right.
it.
I think
agree
it's
with
true.
it.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
yeah,
It's very true.
like it could be an elective class.
If you're doing something, put your best effort to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think one thing
Like
too is
anything.
going back to you're in school, right? But whether it be your mom, your dad, yourself, whoever's financing your school scholarships, in my opinion, I think it's at your best advantage to try hard as you can. Just knowing that someone is financially backing you,
Yeah.
or maybe it's yourself, to be in school. So why not try your hardest when you can or if you can?
hmm
And that's why I try to do it myself too.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can try hard, go ahead and do it.
I mean, yeah, like being a D1 athlete in itself, plus, I mean, I don't like all your school on top of it, plus
Yeah.
like a company, like
Right.
that'll get overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it seems like you guys like navigate
Yeah.
it pretty well.
Yeah.
It was certainly, I wouldn't say it was an easy navigation process.
It wasn't
Yeah.
easy. Yeah.
It was so hard.
Hey, really?
Remember,
It
there'd be
was- it
times
was so
Tavia
hard.
and I, we'd be at practice and we'd know that after practice we'd have to go work on our business, have a phone call for recruiting for banking.
Mhm.
But I will note that one thing that we always oftenly did was call our mom.
Mhm.
I still do it to this day. I just call my mom, hear her voice. Just hear my mom speak. It just literally makes me feel more at home, more comfortable, and like I can do anything, man. So I call my mom all the time. Back then, when we first started, and still do it. So
Yeah.
it definitely got the nerves out.
I also call mom a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I know we're doing it. So
I also call mom a lot too. But
Yeah.
Savion made a great point there, though. It's a great point.
Okay. Yeah, no, for sure. And kind of back to the family aspect, and then
Yeah.
you guys were talking
Yeah.
about like track and stuff. I think that's been in your family for a little bit. I think
Yeah.
your great uncle won the
Yeah.
first right for
Yeah.
Jamaica
Yeah.
Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
And now they're like a powerhouse in track. And so
Yeah,
talk to me
literally.
about that. Yeah.
So our mom and dad both, or they were both pretty quick, but
Yeah.
mom's Jamaican, dad's from Kansas City, and I think just knowing the fact that we have strong Jamaican blood, literally in our genes, naturally, I would say that's probably making us faster.
Yeah.
Naturally.
I think
Yeah.
so.
But our mom, like I said earlier, she was a track athlete. She was phenomenal. Our dad also ran. He was pretty quick. Our oldest brother, he ran track too, pretty quick. But yeah, Arthur Went, he is our great uncle. He was the first Jamaican to win a gold medal in the Olympics. And when I heard about that story growing up, I was just thinking, if he can do it and he's in our family, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not to his capacity of, on the Olympic level, but definitely, whether it be high school or here in college, I wanted to just kind of showcase what I can do too. And we did that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're wrapping up here, but I just kind of want to get some final thoughts from you guys.
Mhm, yeah.
Our audience is obviously kind of students like myself,
Sure,
students, young
sure,
professionals, 18 to 24. What like piece of advice would you give to them? They're not necessarily running a business.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
maybe in school, maybe they're doing that, but like either about organization or anything that you guys have
Sure.
accumulated up to now?
I think one thing that's kind of helped me get Savion during college has been believing in yourself and then also
Yeah.
betting on yourself. So before me and Savion retired from track, we had met with our coach and we also met with Wayne Simeon. And I spoke with Coach Q. He's a coach on the basketball team. And I asked him, I was like, you're so established, right? But how do you, go between the highs and the lows? Like, what do you do to do so well when you get through it? And he was like, I bet on myself. I doubled down and bet on myself.
Yeah.
And me and Savion, we were at the time just considering, do we really want to stop running track? And I mean, looking back now, we really didn't want to stop running track, but we knew that we had to make the most out of our time on a daily basis. And at one point, we were like, it's probably time for us to just bet on ourselves and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
We did that, and I would say betting on ourselves has been the best choice we've made here at KU.
By far.
By far. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. You're good.
All right, I'll add on one thing to that. I think that if I could give anyone advice, it'd be to ask more questions.
Mhm.
You may not know the exact answer to your question, so obviously you ask someone else the question as well. But I think that if you can ask someone else, it's going to help you out only. It won't necessarily hurt you.
Yeah.
So ask more questions when you can. And I would also say betting on yourself is probably the best bet to go with. So.
Yeah, and then I would say one thing too. Where you start in life does not determine where you end in life. Like for example, me and Savion, we are the product of a immigrant. Our mom's from Jamaica, and our dad grew up in a single family household in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And would we ever think that having a mom from Jamaica and a dad who grew up in inner city Kansas City, like where would their children be at 22 years down the road? Who would have thought? I just would say just knowing that like where you start in life does not determine where you end. Not to say me and Savion are on the back end of our end of life. I'm just saying that we've come so far from where we started at. Just knowing our history of our family and just knowing where our roots are really from.
Yeah.
I think that that's really important to just really highlight and know that you don't have to be where you're at in life when you start throughout your entire life ever.
Yeah. There's always room for change, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, always.
Exactly.
Always.
And there's always room for improvement too. Like, I mean, it might not seem it. You might have like a full-fledged business.
Yeah.
Good or bad,
Everything's
Yeah.
going well. You can
Yeah.
still the ceiling's
Yeah.
kind of like never ending.
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
That's super huge. Well, I want to thank you guys for being on the podcast. I
Yeah,
want to thank you guys
yeah.
for kind of helping out, sharing your thoughts with our viewers. I do
course.
want to also mention a couple sponsors if you want to throw those up, Simo. Obviously, everybody saw Pickleman's. 10-10 all around the
Always.
board. Box Water providing our hydration today, 93% recycled, reusable plastic. And then we have the KU bookstore. I'm assuming you guys don't need KU merchandise, but they've donated some, and so and then we also have Johnny's Tavern. So we threw a
Awesome.
gift card in from them.
You want me to bring those out, Cooper?
Sure, yeah. Why don't you? Yeah, it's just in a bag, so I didn't know how sexy that would be, but no, we really do appreciate you guys.
No,
and then-
we appreciate you guys
Yeah.
too for taking the time to do this and inviting us on the podcast.
Awesome,
So
yeah.
This has been
no,
a great
thank you
experience,
guys.
honestly.
This has been.
I've
yeah,
been
this
on
has
2
been
other
great.
podcasts, and I will also say that this
Really?
podcast has been by far the best one.
Really?
Yeah.
Were the other ones like not as casual?
Appreciate it.
It was more so like me being interviewed.
Yeah,
like
I don't like
100%
that.
gets drilled, interviewed, like why this, why that, and we weren't necessarily conversating between the
Okay.
questions.
That's what I was trying to like get away from.
Yeah.
But it's like hard. Like I
It
know
is-
you
it is
guys
kinda
like
hard, yeah.
a little bit, but when I
Yeah.
have somebody on here that I don't even know at all.
Yeah.
That is difficult, but you killed it. You did good.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
You guys were
Appreciate
great,
you guys.
great first guests.
Yeah.
I know.
That
I
was
know.
perfect.
I was like.
I will also say that I'm pretty excited to see what you guys do with this moving forward.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to be here at KU or Lawrence next year, but
But we'll
I hope
follow
that-
along.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys can
Follow along.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Simon will try to keep you guys updated on the
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna make a LinkedIn. I saw you guys have a LinkedIn for Vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shots.
Oh, really?
It's like,
Of
that's a
course,
great
yeah.
idea.
It's totally.
It's
Is
I
that
can't
better?
imagine. I can't imagine owning a business and like not projecting your business on LinkedIn.
Because that's
like-
what. Yeah.
yeah. We haven't posted on that
We
page
don't-
before,
we probably
but
posted
we invited
twice.
a lot of our friends to
like it.
like or follow the page.
Uh-huh.
Just to kind of build a online presence. I mean, people follow it. It's a relevant brand or company,
Yeah.
or page on LinkedIn. True.
It also is like has an icon that you guys can put on your personal LinkedIn,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Yeah,
what I'm like.
exactly.
I'm pretty.
Exactly.
I'm
From
all in
that.
for like the aesthetic looks, so
Uh-huh.
it looks good.
Other
it
than
looks
that, like
great.
little icon that's
Yeah.
got
Guy's a
there.
crowd
Yeah,
pleaser.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome.